Can't do that with Twitch. So I found some really cool photos of 18th century curtains and some history links because we're talking about some set pieces. So today I was hoping to do some just kind of more swag curtains because I know I did basic curtains, but now I just kind of want to make some more just swag, and interesting like larger set piece curtains, and then reintroduce pleating, but also by doing like a coffee table piece, which reminds me I need to grab my coffee table file. Table, OBJ, come here. And I also have like a papasan chair, maybe, if we want to do some of that. Blah, 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 blah. There. So, unfortunately, YouTube has decided to not work anymore for some magical reason. Don't know why. So, last time we did YouTube, today we're going to stay on Twitch. So, hi guys. Thanks for your patience. Very frustrating that we can't get YouTube to work, but that's just how the cookie's gonna crumble. Unfortunately, there's people waiting on YouTube, and I hope they figure it out. I'll pop the chat out so at least we can see. I mean, I can see and answer their questions if they need it. Pop. All right. So, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Sorry that YouTube's not working. I'm Megan. I work for Marvelous Designer. I am a 3D designer community manager for Marvelous Designer. And normally we also stream to YouTube at the same time, but I will upload this as a recorded file. I'm recording it now. So let's go ahead and get down to our links that I always do. Today I'm doing a super casual stream with more set pieces and more kind of fun curtains. But if you are working on a project and you are struggling and you want to talk to sometimes us, depending on if we are available, other users of Marvelous Designer, you can join our Discord here. You can share pictures there. You can share if you are looking for work, if you are looking to provide work. That is where you can communicate. We do also have forums on our website where you can also purchase our software at marvelousdesigner.com. There you can also go to our forums, and we also have a bunch of other kind of like our manuals on there and things like that. Normally we're also streaming to YouTube, but we're currently not. So for those of you who are going to see part of the stream or want to see other streams or our other content, you can go to our YouTube channel, as well as in the same post that I'm posting. You can also check our YouTube channel for our tutorials, and those are going to be our best practice recommendations for utilizing Marvelous Designer, as well as getting yourself acquainted using Marvelous Designer. And if you are having technical issues with Marvelous Designer and it's not like you can't log in, or you've logged in on another device and you need to log back in on a different device, I recommend you contact our support email by going to the actual support tab on our website, because it's going to be a little bit faster in creating a support ticket than sending an email, because then we'll have to verify what your login is. So that is the whole kind of spiel there. So if I remember where we are, let's see, where is main? Okay, this one's main now. I've been moving around a lot of my things. Okay. Boop. So let's get started. First of all, I found some cool historical curtains that I really like, so I'm going to share those in the chat in general, because you know me and looking for fun history references. Scroll down. There's a bunch of these like curtain fashion plates kind of things on This is a generic website, but there's a bunch from the Met Museum as well. These ones are 19th century, obviously, but it's pretty cool. And there's a few of these, like this Design Sponge website that has a bunch of histories on curtains as well, with more of these design plates or drawings of the curtains. 1826. Show me this photo. Pin it. Come on. Open image in new tab. I just think that's neat. So I was thinking we could do some of this just in general using Marvelous Designer because a lot of people are going to use it for set pieces. I also have a coffee table, so I kind of wanted to show you guys how to do another more pleating, but on top of a coffee table with swag, if, you know, it'll work out today. The New York Public Library Digital Collection, that's cool. Let's see, closing this. As well as I was going to do a papasan chair because I do love just using inflate and quickly creating a chair. I'm trying to find that one. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at. But I love these fashion plate-like curtains. I think this is really cool. I will use GPU simulation. Mind you, I am using, this is a Intel graphics card. I was like, wait, I can't remember what I have in there. But I'll use GPU simulation because that's going to make life easier. But of course, it's going to be GPU simulation first, and then I'll have to go over to normal simulation. So let's go ahead and just kind of get started. I'll figure out which one I want to do. I mean, I do like that kind of curtain. That's kind of neat. Anyway, so the way I like to create my curtains is to do rectangles, but first I'm going to bring in my avatar. Just for scale, I'm just grabbing a person. She's going to get quickly removed from the scene. Boop. I could also do inches or something, but I know it's going to be a really tall curtain, especially if it's like an 18th century style. So I'm just doing about the height right now. And then I'm faking the curtain rod by just doing the bar and then freezing it. So right click and then freeze or Control K. This is a very tall curtain, but I will be using I will make this giant because it's just going to make it hard for us. And it'll showcase using GPU effectively. Make it a little shorter. Alright, so I'm gonna look at this guy. I like this one a lot, but it's got those points on there. So we're gonna start with this, the sheer curtain in the back. Again, sheer curtain in the back, so you guys can see it. Where is this? Where is the Twitch? There it is. I have too many tabs open. So I'm going to do this one. I kind of like it. I want to try it. I'll probably do some of these medallions here. We'll see. I'll probably just fake it. Because I've taught a lot of the rules, and I'm like, we can break them. Let's start breaking rules. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and do the super classic. Just stitch it into place, but make it twice as wide. For gathering, as always, the rule is 2 to 3 times, or at least 1.5 times the width that it's sewing into or that you're, gathering into. Grab the thing there. All right. So normally you could simulate this with normal, or you can use GPU. So let's use GPU simulation, because otherwise this will be real slow. So using GPU simulation, that's a lot of fabric, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and sim it. The one problem is with this amount of fabric is the more I have to pre-prepare its shape. You can see it going now. I have to prepare its shape into place. That just whiplashed right in there. Or else it's going to be a problem. I'm probably going to shrink these just for the sake of sanity here. It's fun, right? All right, let's put this back on. But the problem is if I'm gonna need to stair step each piece down just to make it faster for simulation. It's so big, so fancy. Okay. I could use a higher particle distance. Here, I can do that too while we're here, just for the example. Not 54, 40. I can use higher particle distance to also make it faster, like Rosemary said. But you're going to see how it's kind of buckling like this. If I want to get this look on stream, I'm going to have to start, I'm going to have to make a wall here too. And start pulling it over. And then bring down my particle distance as I throughout this process. You go there. No, come back. I love when I hide these from myself. Okay. So, I mean, it's not, I'm like, is it wide? How wide is this? It's pretty wide. I'm going to make this a little more narrow. No, okay, no, you know what, we're going to just leave it. Because we're kind of doing a bit of a stress test today anyway on it. All right. So this is GPU simulation with 40 particle distance. So to make my life easier, I am going to also add a rectangle to the side. That is going to be kind of the wall where it's sewing into. If you have set pieces, you can also just bring them in, but right now I'm just building it in Marvelous. Just to make life as difficult as possible. So I'm going to cheat this and make, ooh, come here, open image. So I'm going to make this swag here and pull it over. So I'm going to actually use elastic to do that, and then I'll end up releasing it later. Yeah, millimeters is the best. I have the chat over here. It's way easier than the imperial system, right? It's almost like 4 feet. So I want to go. So I want to try making this into the swag. So I'm going to go ahead and just use elastic. So I'm making an internal line, and then I'm going to apply the elastic to that internal line to get it into place. Come here, you. Boop. And we're staying in GPU simulation for most of this right now. Because once I am able to pull this over here, I definitely want this to be much lower. That a little higher. I do want some more space though. All right. I can pin it, but I'm also just going to do this by eye here. You can pin it to the side here. I'm obviously just doing it to the wall. 1 meter is 1.125 yards. Just so you guys know, it's 1 1/4 yards-ish. If I'm not wrong, if I recall correctly. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's a yard and 4 inches. So it's not 1.125. It's 1. 09 yards, I want to say. Something like that. Boop. Yeah, I prefer working in meters, and we do recommend working in, millimeters for Marvelous Designer. Okay, come here, you. I'm just going to increase the strength as well. Okay, I don't want that much. Whee! Whee! Alright, cool. Don't mind me, I'm just playing with that. I'm an adult, I swear. That was fun. Anyway. So now we have our lovely curtain. We have that first layer done. It's still at 40 particle distance, but we're going to stair step everything down at the end. So we'll do the next layer, which are these two, because this is a really wide one. So I'm going to just copy paste into space. Making it as close as I can. I could do this a little bit more methodically, but just for the sake of breaking the rules today, I'm not going to be methodical about it. Alrighty, so we have our first layer, which I'm just going to put, I want to make this a nice UV too. I'm just going to put it here, because we'll hide these. So, let me, boop. Next, we'll do the second layer. I'm just going to do another rectangle, half the width, and a little bit longer, actually, just so we can get a little bit of a drag. Oh yeah, I'm definitely using the default fabric right now. Just to make it faster, because when I'm working, I generally want to do the default fabric if it's not going to be dependent upon how it drapes, because it'll end up like while I'm setting everything into place. If it's wool or things like that, and I need to start sculpting it into the correct shape based on the thickness of the fabric, then I'll start working on it with the fabric type. Oops, I didn't mean to simulate. But in this case, the fabric type's not really dependent on it, because it's going to be, what, a taffeta, let's just say. And also simulate or superimpose side and freeze that. Pull this way. All right, that didn't really work. Anyway. Luckily, we're doing GPU simulation in 40 particle distance, so life will be a little bit easier, but it's also going to be a bit of a problem when we get to layering like this. Because it doesn't respect collision thickness as much. So I'm going to have to do normal for a second. Just to get it to kind of figure itself out. I don't want it to be that tall. Come here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the internal line, because I'm also going to just fake the, I'm going to end up making that, the tie back for the curtain, but having elastic do it for me in the beginning is going to be the best way. Control H. Again, I'm just going to be doing the side here as close as I can to the approximate height. Doing it the eyeball method. this one's a much... It's almost in the same place. Looking at this photo again while it's doing that. They're kind of in the same place, but this one is going to just be pulled to the side straight. But I did want more of this swag going on. And I can do that just because it's going to be a little bit more gathered, because there's not as much material anyway. And then I'm going to go back to GPU. Alrighty. Okay, and we'll make this 10. Come here. Oh, it's angry. Yeah. For a more swag look, this upper one though doesn't need it as much as that first one. Because I want the more swag look. I almost want to fix that. But it's frozen right now, so I'm going to have to wait. This one I probably want... Definitely did not want to do that. Go back. Back, I say. There we go. This one's going to be straighter. This one I'm going to add more swag to it. But this one I just kind of wanted to pull this to the side. And then also get us some ruffling going on. Yay. I'm going to need to make this even stronger. And reduce the ratio some more. Yay! That's what I was looking for. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, I'm going to let that simulate for a minute. And then check the chat. Yeah, steeper ankle for more swag look. So I'm going to fix this one because I just don't like how it looks, and I do want to have more swag, so I'm going to pull this down. This one I intentionally want these ruffles just because it looks like that is what they've done a little bit. I don't know. We're going to see. I'm just kind of figuring this part out. I just wanted to play with it. But, okay, that's going to lay down. I'm going to stop simulating. I'm going to freeze this one, turn this one back on, and make this more severe. It'll also make this more tapered, which will be nice. Let's go back and make the strength much higher. He's angry. Come on. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Boop. And this needs to go back up here. And we're having those collision issues just because this is 40 particle distance, so it's not surprising that we're having that happen. With my fabricated wall, hindsight, just moving that down. It's angry. I'm deactivating my fake wall so that it's not going to be colliding into it anymore. But the wall is still sewn together and it'll still hang in place there. Right? I love draping. I'm really excited for these next bits while this does this. I'm really excited about this one. I really like the cascades. I want to get those on. I want to do some draping on that. I want to make the tablecloth. I want to do like little swags on the tablecloth. But I'm like, when this settles down, that'd be great. Draping is so fun. Okay, because now I'm getting more swag. I'm getting the all this fun stuff. Straighten yourself out, bud. These are also two different ways to actually get a similar drape for the tiered looking curtain as it's falling down. You can see here where it's ruffling like this. You can do it by just cutting it, but you can also do it by how you actually swag the material. It just depends on which method you prefer. I am going to do this a little lower. Too low. I love the math part, but I also really enjoy not having to really math it out, but that means you guys will have to kind of see me struggle with it. Right? We'll do some red velvet. I don't have any Baroque prints, but we'll just do some red. We'll do some red on it because this is 1826. This time period is 1826. I love the sketch how they have even the finials on this. So cool. Okay. Again, we're going to go ahead and Control C, Control R this one, just because it's supposed to be the same, or at least a little similar. Similar enough. Again, these are all at 40 particle distance. But see, so you can either use GPU, but GPU, obviously, it's a very different algorithm. We are still working on it. It's not respecting the collision thickness like it should, unfortunately. So we just kind of have to work with other methods. Where are you? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this one as an example. Because then I'll be able to do the next layer. Yeah, once we get it figured out, I can't wait. I don't know where our developers are on it, but I also am very much looking forward to it. All right, cool beans. So we've gotten these guys. What do I want to do here? I do want to add the swag to it. But that's going to make me have to That's going to make me have to stair step my collision back down. So we're going to leave that for later. Next we have this guy. It'll be relatively easy. It looks like it's just a half circle. So let's go ahead and do that. Boop, come here. Ellipse. Because there's another one I wanted to do that I couldn't find the photo of, but it's got a whole swag going, and then it all bunches into a circle. So I'm like, I wanted to do that curtain as well, but I really liked this one with all the layers. All right, making an imperfect circle. Cutting it. Boop. Slice. Slice and dice. Cut. Okay, so they are relatively evenly spaced. I'm going to use an internal ellipse just so I can mark those circles. Showing you guys. These little internal guys are coming out of that curtain rod or of the mount, and it's just swagging from those 4 points. So that's what I'm going to kind of fake right now by doing it this way. Well, first of all, I'm going to freeze this because that's done simulating. Let's see. One and two. Let's see. They're okay. We're gonna do it this way. They're evenly spaced, sort of, and then just slightly off in the middle. Offset along a curve, so I can get in between those lines. 2, 3, 4. Done. All right, we got one. Slightly more to the left, and then I'll just copy them both. Like that. And that looks close to this guy, so I just can have those points marked. I could have done it with lines, but... Hello, welcome! Could have done it with lines, but I'm not going to do that because I'm lazy. I do want to move this one more time, though. Maybe I think this is fine. Let me see. I'm going to turn these internal lines off. Yeah, actually, that's fine. All right, cool. So first things first, we're going to sew. I don't know if I want to cause a problem, but I just might. Let's be a little chaotic. I'm going to sew the half of this circle. I should be sewing to a point, but I just want to see if this will work. And then I'm sewing in the direction I want to go as well to make it a little bit easier. Superimpose side. That didn't work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Make this layer 1 and go. Yay, finally caught a stream. Welcome. I also might have made this a little too deep. So we'll see. Yeah, this is too deep. And I will also make this a little shorter. So this is what we're making, is this thing on the right, this curtain set. I'm not making any of these fun finials and filigree, but come on. Sort yourself out. This is the only one that's 20 particle distance right now. And this one might need to be made into a different material to get it to lay like we want it to. Excuse me, sir. Come here. I also might need to do an internal bit, but we'll see. This is colliding with these other pieces. It would be nice if it wouldn't do that, but we're currently working with 40 particle distance on the pieces underneath it, so I'm not surprised it's catching. Oh, I just realized why I'm having a problem. Boop. These should be over here. There we go. Now it should lay properly. And this is all just using the default fabric right now. Yeah, I just made it wider. Yeah, I'm trying to get the draping and the pulling at the same time, but I think I might need to start picking from the middle of the material. There we go. We're getting there. It's just going inside of pieces it shouldn't go. Fine. 5 millimeters collision thickness for this one as well. And that should hopefully fix this a little bit. Because this way we're getting some of this swag. It's not the style I wanted for this, but it's okay. Come here. I will take it. It's a little different from this one, but that's okay. I think this is looking okay for now, so I'm going to go ahead and... Nope, don't do that. Freeze that one. Because now we got to play the layer game again. So we have a whole curtain here, and then we have one more pulling from... Oops, wrong. Trying to use hotkeys on Chrome. All right, Control J. Activate. Deactivate. Control C, Control V. Copy paste this. It's going in not the same spot, all the way across. And this is going to be a short boy. Look at this blue curtain. So this other blue curtain is actually going underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one going to this point and then one going to the edge. And then it ends there. Yeah, they're not on the same curtain rod. So I'm just going to do another curtain rod. Yeah, they all shouldn't be. But I'm trying to see how much we can break rules right now. Reset. Because I'll do it this way too. I'm gonna just do it this way. Oops. Didn't mean to do that one. Okay. Move this over here. We will do it this way just to make life a little bit easier here. Do I want to do a third curtain rod? Because they normally just stack them in historical points. They normally just stack their curtain rods. So, trying to think. How much do I want to do this? And how much do I want to see that we can get away with? Because the top's going to be hidden in the end anyway. But let's do a little bit of cleanup. Because it is getting affected. Boop. Come here. So again, I'm just doing the outsides and I'm sewing it from the inside in the same direction. Okay. Okay. And pull this forward. Freeze that again. I will make one more of this one. Control C, Control V. We'll do 3 curtain rows. We'll do 3 rows of curtain rod at this point, just because it is thick, but we are still working with 40 particle distance. So these guys are going to be deactivated. And we're going to focus on this one, now that that's fixed. And then we'll do it on that third one that we just made. It shall be the middle child. Where is it? Okay. You are the middle child. Come here. And we're going to do another internal line just because of this guy. I'm going to guess there's another one here that we can't see. So making this whole thing shorter. It's still 40 particle distance. And then this one's going to end up being square again. So just selecting those 2 segment points, align and bottom. And then I can do this guy. And then I'll do the second piece. The ones in the back are likely on a separate behind the visible cornice. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think there's at least one, two. There's probably actually three behind this piece. There's probably one for each row, let's be honest. Because these ones are attached to these points here. And then this one's probably on its own. Then we have these two, which are on their own. And then we have the third. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total rows. I agree with you there. And the same with me cheating for this wall. Because I'm just using these points. Control C, Control V. There's going to be a lot of cleanup work for this UV. For this UV map. Oh my goodness. Oops, don't touch that one. Come here. I know I'm just hiding it, but I do want to make it in the same possible row. Okay. There. Okay. Now I want to put one here. And then two here. So internal polygon. Let's see. Enter. Definitely not the correct location. Come here. Hello! Welcome. Elastic value again. Super tiny ratio. Super high strength. To get this look. Probably something like that. Since there's blue there. Okay. This actually needs to be longer. And honestly, this should be a little shorter. I don't like the amount of volume that we've got. And then this tail is surprisingly long for what it is. And we'll do a little stop simulating and pull this down. So I'm going to see if I can get away with keeping these on the same layer but I might have to not. But I do love them. It's just so fun. All right. Figure your life out, please. That would be great. If you could do that for me. Well, close enough. Close enough for government work, so we'll go ahead and activate this guy. This does need to be further out. Just so it's not laying on top of everything else. I think this needs to be less severe. Where are we at? Where are we at? Come here. Yeah. Yeah, I like it with 40. It's just going to be really fun when I have to clean this up later. Because when I stair step it down to 20 to be from 20 to 15 to 10, depending on what I want, it's going to be a real... I'll probably have to do it during the weekend and just let my computer process and play like no video games. But it'll end up looking pretty. It's just there's a lot in this scene. That's the important part, is it's gonna look really cool. So I hope to get it to look cool before we go for the day. Because all this is gonna lay down too as soon as I make it less thick of a particle distance. All right, we just have the one that is also attached to the same row. So, Control-C, Control-V. Which will make life easy. Yeah, it looks so much nicer now that it's not on top of everything else. It's not the same. This one definitely... I just closed it. It's definitely a different type of swag, because it's... I feel like there's probably a ½ inch inside of it that they can do to like make this actually the taut and then let those pieces swag inside of them. But, you know, we'll get away. We're going to go ahead and just move on with this one. I like to be picky, but today I won't be picky. So last but not least, we're doing this second one again. So I need to also do this. This is the third row. Where's the third row for you? Just so this is a bit more organized of a workspace. So we know where we're at. Okay. Where are you? You go with this group. Okay. So, I basically have this one. Control-C, Control-R to reverse. Place it in the scene. And this one is going to be a little interesting. So it's just going to be smaller. Way smaller. And also sewing into just this one side. Boop, boop. Right? I love Victorian dresses with swag. Ugh. I love, and pickups. Ugh. Makes me so happy. Okay. Okay. Gonna freeze that guy. Let that jump into place. Fix my layers. So this one is actually quite taut on the top in between those points. So most likely what I'm going to have to do is this. B, to edit my sewing, gather this into that spot, is what it looks like is going on. Yeah. Get that straightened out, if it'll let us. Reset 2D arrangement. Oops. Reset 3D arrangement. Thank you. That's interesting. Why is it doing that? All right. Do whatever you want, fabric. For now. I'll get you soon. And then I am going to cheat as well by putting elastic at the top. It could be gathered in my brain. It's a sketch. It's just an art sketch. I'll do what I want. See now how it's getting slow. It's like, I don't want to be here. There's so much fabric in my scene. Okay. This is, where'd it go? It's the same height. Okay, so we're good. We're just going to let that simulate for a minute. Excuse me, sir. Why? Thank you. And then we'll simulate it and get it into place. This is why we don't have curtains like this anymore. It's so much material. I mean, we do, obviously, but you know. Now I'm just trying to match them at the same side. And dusting. No maids. Yeah, imagine having to clean these curtains. Like, no thank you. The level of dusting that these consume, just alone. Nope, don't do that. Like, I need to, clean my curtains. When was the last time anyone washed? Who washes their curtains right now? Like, nowadays. Like, I know we need to, but like, while we're here, while I'm doing this, who cleans their curtains? Like, when does this happen? Right now I'm just trying to get it to match nicely though, without being too bulky. And then this basically ends up making this done, because then I would be making the frame afterwards. Yeah, like, I need to dust my blinds too. I do dust my blinds sometimes, but the level of housekeeping that is necessary for this grandiose of an object. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Can you maybe listen? It's like, I want to use GPU right now, but I don't think I should because of the level of layering that we actually have going on. I'm trying to make this match as close as I can. But I think, honestly, this is probably going to be the best we're going to get right now. I don't know. We were talking about that earlier. It's just because the algorithm is, like, entirely different and it's completely written from scratch compared to the CPU simulation. It's entirely different, so they have to figure it out entirely in a different way. So, I mean, it does respect collision. And it does respect layering, just not well. It's not as well as CPU simulation. Because you can layer. It's just it has the problem with collision issues. That's where the problem's coming from. So we're working on it, but I don't know. I don't have any updates for anybody. You. More elastic. I think that's all I need is just more elastic and to turn off strengthening. There we go. It's not the same. They're in the same exact space, but it's because I've got the piece here. I probably just need to do it this way. Not that I wanted to, but that's probably going to be the best way to get the same, almost the same look, which is fine if it's not perfect. There we go. I'm gonna cheat. Normally you wouldn't cut a curtain like that, but I've done it a few times in this stream, so we'll do that. There we go. And now it's looking more like the photo. Okay. Now it's time for the part everyone loves. Bringing these down to lower particle distances. So I'm just activating them. When they're deactivated, they will still sew into place. So I'm going to make this 20 now. And since we're here, we can add some velvet just so we at least have something to look at and enjoy the joy of. Oh wait, this one's actually going to be chiffon. I'll just leave it like this, and then it'll be clear. Copy. Fabric 2. Fabric 2B. Sheer. Ba-bam. All right. Now it's down to 20 particle distance. Let's go. So again, while that's simulating, we're starting with the most furthest back row here, which is the chiffon or the sheer curtain. And I'm going to stair step these ones. At least to like 15 for the stream, if it's not going to be too bad. Coffee. And then simulate. But yeah, all the way down to 15. Now it's going to be, now it's chugging. You can see it moving though, slowly. I'm probably not going to go any further than 15 for now. I do not have a separate PC. I am working from the same PC that is currently streaming. And recording, in fact. Yes, I am recording. So, we'll let that... I'm going to go ahead and let that stop. Yeah, it's my personal PC. It's my personal giant tower. Okay, next we have these boys. We're gonna bring those down to 20. Those will be velvet. Yeah, though sometimes I think it would be faster if I had 2 towers to do this, but I have no idea how to do that. So. Why do we have stretch velvet? Where's normal velvet? I guess we'll do stretch velvet. I forget what we have. Come here. Listen, please. Why is it having a problem with scrolling? Oh, I'm not on full screen. There we go. It's like, why am I not scrolling? Make sure that your program's on full screen. Detail. That's fine. I'm gonna make it red though. Just because we like red. We want the red eyedropper. Pick the exact red from the thing. Okay. Now, bop bop. 20, keeping my collision thickness at 5 so it's not colliding with it. It's gonna be a problem if we're not careful. I'm gonna make sure this is layer 0. I know where all my normals are facing, so I can use layers. Sometimes layers without a body is really gonna break your brain. But right now I'm just gonna make this just layer 1. And let that go. This is stretch velvet, so these are gonna stretch even further. Which we might like how it looks. We'll see. Kind of want to do a deeper red. I just color picked from the photo. There we go. Getting us there. Guess I'll simulate a little. I'll make these 15. And then I'll simulate just for a second or two. And then we'll move on to the next pieces. So I'm probably going to have that be velvet, and then the ones above it all be probably a taffeta. Now in curtains, it's generally a thicker woven material. I do want to do one thing, and that is this sewing relationship. I do want to pull this a little bit further back. And then let that simulate. This is always the slowest part, is just letting it figure itself out. Because this is now going to have to gather. Oh yeah, Eric's in the chat for us, by the way. He just came back. Freezing and deactivating patterns that won't actively work on makes a pretty big difference. Yeah, which is what we're doing here. As you can see, that's why, for those of you who aren't aware, the blue color is me having these pieces be frozen, and then this the light blue that is opaque is the frozen pieces, and then the see-through blue is deactivated pieces. And the reason that I deactivated them, like you saw, is because I'm now going to have to relayer everything. But because we did the multiple kind of curtain rods and they're layered in actual space, there's less that they're going to collide with each other, but they still are sort of touching. So doing it in this way is going to be pretty efficient. We're just letting this guy slide on over. All right, it's slid on over, and it's done thinking. Eventually. Give it a second here. There we go. And we just gonna freeze these guys again. This also makes sense why there's so many really deep curtains and deep windows. Yeah, for those of you again, Eric has joined us today. He is normally helping me in the chat. He's writing on the Twitch stream as Marvelous Designer. Stop simulating. Please and thank you. Stop. Now that I'm bringing everything down from 40, it's starting to do what Jet Set Geometry was worried about, which was having a lot of that fabric in the scene is making it think a lot. And I'm streaming, and I'm recording. Okay, it has stopped, so I'm gonna go and freeze them. And then we will activate the next layer, which is this guy. Bring it down to 20. We could just do velvet the whole time. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to let it be 20 and the generic fabric. That is also the other thing, which is if, for just having it be the default fabric, I don't need to worry about the calculations being different. So utilizing the default fabric before you apply the cotton stretch velvet or the other different materials, the default's going to be a lot faster to simulate no matter what you do. Because then otherwise it has to start calculating in stretch and bend and warp a lot more than it does with the generic default material. It is simulating, it's just going slow because there's a lot here colliding with itself. I do have my collision thickness for all of these curtains up to 5 millimeters. Just to make it a little bit easier. This is also the slowest part of any stream. Because the more fabric in there, the slower it's gonna go. I just realized I'm wearing purple, but it matches the blue. I can't see myself normally. No, you don't. Stop that. I forgot about my layers. This is why you always bring it back down to layer 0. Make this layer 1. Go back. There you go. And then once that pops out, we only have the 2 more. And then this whole curtain is going to be done, at least for now. Done enough for the stream, I should say. Come on, pop out. Fine, be that way. Select mesh, bop, you. Interesting. Come on. Yeah, I fixed the layers on those because they were layer 1. There we go. we are. That's better. So what had happened earlier, Rosemary said it in the chat, but for those who are here recorded from YouTube, Rosemary suggested double checking my layers because I had left the previous layer on layer 1 and this top layer on layer 0, and so layer 0 was trying to go to the back side of layer 1. So I needed to remember my order of operations and to put the previous one on layer 0 and bring this back up to layer 1. Okay, I'm going to make this also velvet, but I'm going to make it blue. Copy. Make it I'm just going to color pick this blue. Interesting. When it's got sheen to it, it's really hard to figure it out. We'll do that. And then we'll simulate it one more time. Then I'll look at the chat. Double check the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Get this, its nice gather. Okay, I'm going to call it done. Turn off my layer to back down to 0. Whenever you're done with whatever it is, make it layer 0. We'll activate this top piece. We're just doing velvet today. I don't know why I feel like velvet. It might change in the future. This is going to get even more stretched out. So I'm going to cheat on this one because I don't want it to get more stretched. And I'm going to do bond. Basically bond and skive. So for those of you who don't know, bond is basically applying an interfacing or a fusible interfacing, and you generally bond it with glue. So that's why it's called bond. And the opposite is skive, and that's a leather working term, which is to make a material thinner in an area. So bonding makes this stiffer and less stretchy, and skiving is going to make any material a little bit more stretchy and a little bit more drapey, for generic terms. And now it's popping back up. Because stretch velvet is stretchy. And then we only have one more, and then we'll be done. And we'll have curtains, and I'll unfreeze this all so we can see it. And then I'm going to have to clean up that UV map real good. That is not a pretty UV map right now. Because that looks pretty. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to do this last curtain. Bond, skive bond. It's the new Bond film. It's Bond, but oh my gosh. It's a sewing one. It's a sewing Bond themed film. The enemy's name is Skive. Just imagine curtains for Bond. Just imagine an entire film just only sewing puns. Half the audience for Bond is confused. Licensed to Stitch. The golden needle. uh, just sewing puns the entire time. And then we're just letting those two settle, and that'll get us done. A drape to kill. A drape to kill. Oh my gosh. Ooh, it's thinking. We have the last row. It'll simulate. Why are you colliding? 20. These are both 20. I like how it just collapses because of the material. Because it's so different, and so it's just being pulled and stretching down. A martini shaken, not stirred. Fabric cut. Or ripped, not cut. Shaken, not shirred. Oh my god. Shirring, for those of you who don't know the joke, shirring is the gathering that I'm doing up there, or sort of. It's rows of gathering that creates a texture. That is, it's either elastic or it doesn't have to be elastic. But you've seen those dresses that are just elastic and it's just straight up gathered. That would be a shirred dress. I have one little thing to fix. You come here. Excuse me. Come on. Do these have layers? Double check all your layers. Layer 0, layer 2. This is the last thing, and then we get to see it when it's done. I just need these to stop colliding with each other. Even though they are 20 particle distance. That's what's causing it, is they're both 20. Alright. It just needs to settle back down, and then we will look at the finished curtain set. Alright, I'm gonna call it. Here it is! Oh, it's still having that thing, but that's fine. But there's our curtains. I'd probably make these taffeta or less shiny. Let's see if I can make this a satin. But I want the reflection intensity to be much lower. Velvet. No, I will do the fabric shiny. We'll just stick with fabric shiny. Yeah, Control S, file save, everybody save. Save project. Desktop. Checking it into work. Stream files. We'll make a new stream file for curtains. New. Folder. Curtains. Curtains with, alright, bet. Curtains with a tilde and an exclamation mark. 1982, or 1890, 1826, that's the period, curtains. Save. Everyone save. Save often. I do have my personal save preferences on my Marvelous Designer for like the autosave every 3 minutes, but always like manually save too. Yay! Let's bring in an avatar so we actually have the scale for everybody. So way to stop time limit to the simulation. Well, you can just hit the space bar to make it stop. And again, I forget the scale of these curtains. Here's giant curtains. This is definitely like, I want to say it's closer to 108 inches tall. No, it's double that. 120-ish. A little small. But here's our base avatar with her base height, and then these gigantic ornate curtains without the curtain rod. Obviously, that would be made in post. Quite large for her, but that's fine. There we are. And that gives me time to be mad about this tiny little corner that I'm going to have to fix later. But as you guys saw, I tried to do it the cheater way, the cheating method with everything going on the same kind of sewing space or curtain rod. But as Rosemary did point out, there are basically on their own curtain rods every single row. So that's why we currently have 3, and I've faked it with these walls here just so I can simulate my tiebacks later, because I'm not about to try to deal with making tiebacks during the stream, because that's just going to take up more time. But we have our super tall giant curtain. That is, how tall is she? How tall is this? How tall did I even make this? Didn't think about it. How tall are these? These frames themselves are 4,518 millimeters, so it's 45 meters. No. 4 meters. Ish. Yeah, so it's about double the height. But I'll probably have to make a tie back later, just because for the sake of continuity, these wouldn't be done with elastic. They would be held back with a curtain hook or a curtain tie. Sometimes it's just a hook that you just tuck it in, and so you can then style your curtain in that way. This is a great example of something that most likely has a hook. Or you just have a swag that's either a you create the swag with rope, with fabric, with just like a small bar, and then they just hook onto another hook against the window on the wall. But we're not doing that. We're using elastic today for a giant curtain. So that is it. Unfortunately, I can't do anything more, but we could do, I probably will do, maybe next week I can do a table or something. We'll see. I wanted to do more than just the curtains, but they always do take a while. So let's swap back, because it is almost time. And I'm going to share those links again for everybody. Maybe this time I won't run over. Where's my cheat sheet? There's my copy pastes. Oh yeah, so for those For those of you in the future on YouTube who are going to ask what software this is the Marvelous Designer software, as it is on our Marvelous Designer YouTube channel. So I'm going to link our links again. Again, I love seeing you guys in the chat. Thank you for joining us, especially Rosemary, and those of you who are part of our Discord channel. If you want to join our Discord, I've linked that in the chat. I will put this also on the YouTube channel, just in the description. As well as if you haven't used Marvelous Designer before and you want to use Marvelous Designer for your projects, you can check out our website at marvelousdesigner.com to check out our prices for a subscription and join our forum, look at YouTube tutorials there as well. Or you can go to our YouTube channel and check out our tutorials there also. For those of you who were on Twitch today, so we do let these videos expire after the 14 days. So I'm going to link our YouTube channel, which I'm going to put this up there. So if you want to look back at this stream about curtains, you can. And we also have our tutorials for best practices using Marvelous Designer. And then last but not least is support. So if you are encountering something that like a technical support issue, we do have our support email, which is like support@marvelousdesigner.com. But the faster way to get help and assistance is to go to our support tab on our website, which will make it a little bit faster and create that ticket a little bit for that support ticket a little bit for you faster, so that we don't have to then reply and ask what's your ID. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm so sorry that YouTube didn't work, but I've recorded it and I will put it up on YouTube right after this. And yeah, so I will finish these curtains later. And then you guys will definitely see these curtains again, I promise. And thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Rosemary, for joining us. And yeah. Also, this email is here. If you have ideas for the stream that you want to see for the future, right, it wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't have any crazy issues. I don't know why YouTube's not working. If you have ideas or content you want to see for these streams, you can send us an idea at community@marvelousdesigner.com. Please don't send us a support request. That email does not get you through to support. This is just for like social media fun stuff. Next time, I hope I can figure out YouTube and figure out why I can't stream to both at the same time, even though I planned this 2 weeks ago. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.